Michigan. How do you cast your votes?
Good evening from the Great Lakes State. I'm Michigan Democratic Party Chair Lavora Barnes. Michigan has an incredible story. We put the world on wheels and we built the middle class.
The state of Michigan casting 125 votes for the Harris-Walz ticket during the roll call on the second night of the DNC. Governor Gretchen Whitmer joining the state party chair and Senator Debbie Stabenow for that historic roll call. Today here on First at 4, we are happy to have our Governor Gretchen Whitmer join us from the DNC in Chicago. Thank you so much, Governor, for taking some time out to join us today.
Of course, good to be with you.
About last night, let's talk about the second night of the DNC. That roll call vote will go down in history. Describe for us the atmosphere of the arena during last night's roll call vote.
Oh, I mean, just joyous. I think, you really see the energy that is happening in this Harris-Walz campaign. And coming out of Michigan, people were like, the Michigan crowd is on fire. We're excited. This is a joyful experience. I think it's an opportunity to showcase all the deep talent in the Democratic Party across this country right now. This week, we're seeing some phenomenal speakers, and it's exciting. But my caution to everyone is, yes, let's ride this feeling out this week, but let's use it to fuel the work, because we got a lot of work to do when we get home on Friday.
And let's talk about that. We heard from former President Barack Obama last night, and during his speech, he talked about the feel-good moment, all of the joy that was in the room, but he reminded America that there is a lot of work to do, and a victory is not assured in November.
That's right. I mean, I think that it's, the average person in this country they're good, hardworking people. But we're tired. It's been exhausting and stressful, number of years. And so our job is to make sure that we're having those conversations. We're showing up on the doors. We're helping people get registered to vote, reminding people how high stakes this election is, whether it's reproductive freedom, or it is the chance to get skills without a lifetime of debt, or it's simply access to affordable housing. These are the fundamentals that Americans need our leaders to focus on. And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are offering a vision and a plan for the future, as opposed to the other side that hasn't put anything out there in terms of a positive vision for America. But we got to make sure people know what's at stake. And so that work of having those conversations, showing up on the doors, getting organized is really important.
And how does a Harris-Walz administration benefit the state of Michigan around some of those issues that you just laid out there?
Well, the nice thing is that, you look at what the Biden-Harris administration has done. We see battery plants and investment that's happening in terms of rebuilding our state infrastructure. We know that the cost of insulin that has dropped dramatically thanks to the Biden-Harris administration. These are receipts. This shows that Kamala Harris has been and will continue to be focused on growing our economy, making sure that every one of us has a place to live that we can afford, that is a good, safe place to live, and making people's lives better. That's what she has focused on. That's what she will continue to do. So showing the receipts, but also the vision, which she will lay out in more fully tomorrow night in her speech, I think is really important.
And let's talk about that speech tomorrow night. She will formally accept the party's nomination for president, a historic acceptance speech, the first Black and Asian woman to accept a major party's nomination for president. What will she have to do, in your opinion, to convince the voting American public that she is ready for this job?
Well, there's no question she's ready for it, and I think you have seen that as vice president, as a former prosecutor, as a former United States senator. This is a woman who has dedicated her life to public service. I loved listening to her husband speak last night, Doug Emhoff. It was talking about their blended family, and that she is strong and she is a convener and she wants to make people's lives better. I know that resonated with a lot of Americans who feel like they're really starting to get to know her better. It's exciting to see people realize the Kamala Harris that I've known for many years now. She's a strong leader. She is a person who genuinely cares about her fellow Americans, and she lived a normal life. She understands what it's like to take care of a dying parent, or to have a mom who has a job and has to get access to health care. and childcare. That was what it was like for her growing up with her single working mom. So I think that the more people get to know the vice president, the more confident and excited they're going to be about her as our next president.
How important is the state of Michigan to this November 5th general election?
There's no path to the White House without going through the state of Michigan. So our votes matter. They matter more than almost any other state. And that's why I think we'll get a lot of attention in this election. And that's why our work to make sure Michiganders use their votes to raise their voices is so important.
Now, lastly, I know you've said on more than one occasion that you love being the governor of the great state of Michigan and you have a job to finish here, but would you consider a cabinet position in the Harris-Walz administration?
You know, I have no plans to go anywhere. No, my job is to make sure that I lead our state through the remainder of my term. There's 2 more years on it. I got a lot of good stuff I want to get done for Michigan. And with a partner in Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in Washington, D.C., we're going to be able to realize even more of our agenda. So I'm excited about the prospect of serving 2 more years, especially with some allies in the White House like Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Well, tonight is night 3 of the DNC. Governor Gretchen Whitmer from the DNC there in Chicago. Thank you so much for joining us here on First at 4.
Thank you. Good to be with you.